I remember the context correctly, an inmate with not much experience of Buddhism who wrote to Tulku Urgyen asking for teachings for right before he's going to die, knowing that he's going to die imminently. And so this is Tulku Urgyen's heart advice. So we can start with Rinpoche saying here, the most benefit comes from trust in the three jewels above you and compassion for your parents from past lives, which are all sentient beings of the three realms below you. The three jewels, of course, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. And parents from past lives means everything, everyone. Everyone has been your parent. You have been everyone's parent. It's all pervading compassion. Compassion. So Rinpoche says, it is your mind that experiences pleasure and pain. Your mind is also that which can go to a heavenly realm or to the hells. Yeah, right now. This isn't some abstract concept. So what is this mind? Rinpoche asks. In essence, it is empty. By nature, it is cognizant. Its capacity is the unity of the two, being empty and cognizant. Once you recognize this, there is knowing. Without recognizing your own nature, there is unknowing, ignorance. Now here, knowing they're translating as Rigpa, or they're translating Rigpa, and unknowing is Ma Rigpa. So in this group, we would say recognition and non-recognition. So this ignorance is the first of the 12 links of dependent origination, followed by formation, dualistic consciousness, and so forth. Your present body was formed based on these 12 links. We take birth, we grow older, and finally the body dies. But mind is not some thing that can die. The reason why there can be a succession of lives is because of this mind. If mind could die, there would be no rebirth. Because mind does not die, because it is still ignorant. Again, it will unfold the 12 links. Formation, then dualistic consciousness, and again up to aging and death. Like a wheel incessantly spinning, this is called the wheel of samsara. The root cause of samsara is unknowing, ignorance. Once you recognize that your mind is empty cognizance, then it is suffused with knowing, or recognition. Without recognizing this nature, which is the basic state of all other beings as well, it is empty cognizance suffused with non-recognition, or ignorance. If you meet a master and receive instructions, what can they tell you? They will tell you, recognize that your mind is the unity of being empty and cognizant, suffused with knowing. And the three kayas, right? Emptiness means dharma kaya, cognizant sambhova kaya, and the energy of that, the unity, is the nirmana kaya display. So this is your body. This is the body of the Buddha. Just getting acquainted with this. It's very important. It's basically the whole of the practice. There's nothing else to do. Rinpoche says, when your attention is extroverted, like turned away from yourself, you fall on. Let your attention recognize itself. Recognize that it is empty. That which recognizes is the cognizance. You can trust at that moment that these two, being empty and cognizant, are an original unity. Seeing that your nature is indivisible, empty cognizance, and acknowledging this is called self-knowing wakefulness. So just like in the space analogy, or in the dream, but space is good too. Wherever there is space, that space is cognizant. You don't have pockets of space without cognizance. You don't have cognizance without that being held somewhere. So they are a unity. That indivisibility that makes way for the energy, the expression. And so the choice is really, are you lost in the expression? Have you been tricked by being interested in objects? Or have you seen the cognizant space? Can you rest in that? But just like normal space, there's no object there, so it can't hold conceptual mind's interest or attention. You can't make an object out of it. So the instruction here, the best you can say for conceptual mind is to rest. When there's a thought, instead of looking at the thought, look where it's happening. Who is the one perceiving the thought? What is the thought made out of? When the thought vanishes, where does it go? Rest in the gap between thoughts. When the next thought arises, where did it come from? No part of mind is lost or gained when thoughts arise and fall. You have to notice this for yourself. It's no good just hearing about it. It does nothing. Maybe you can feel a little good. Patrul Rinpoche said, at least rational mind will be happy. But it has to be important to you. This has to matter. People who can receive this teaching have to hit some sort of rock bottom in their own way, whatever that means for them. Either naturally receptive or made receptive by external factors. But either way, this has to be a matter of life and death. You have to really wonder, who are you? Will you die? What is this made out of? So this is a good audience. And this is a person who has a good chance of receiving the teaching. Despite what might externally look like unfavorable circumstances, it might not be. So Rinpoche says, recognize that your mind is the unity of being empty and cognizant, suffused with knowing. When your extension is extroverted, you fall under this way of thoughts. Yes. Let your attention recognize itself. Recognize that it is empty. That which recognizes is the cognizance. You can trust that at this moment, these two, being empty and cognizant, are an original unity. Yes. Seeing that your nature is indivisible, empty cognizance, and acknowledging this is called self-knowing wakefulness. Good to read. You need to recognize the identity of that which feels happy, that which feels sad. Unless we know how to see our own nature, we reconnect again with the 12 links of dependent origination, and the wheel of samsara spins endlessly. If you first recognize the nature of that which is ignorant, of that which is unknowing, then samsara stops at the first step in the wheel. That is called ignorance purified at the very base. The moment you recognize mind essence, this self-knowing wakefulness interrupts the stream of deluded thinking, which is formation, the second link. Once formation is stopped, dualistic consciousness stops, and gradually all the other links are cleared up. In one instant, the very basis for continuing in samsara has been interrupted, because dualistic consciousness has become original wakefulness. So how do you train in this? Let your mind recognize its own nature. When seeing your nature, there is a sense of being empty and yet awake. In actuality, this being empty is called dharmakaya. Along with this, there is a sense of knowing, an awake quality that acknowledges that it is empty. That is called sambhogakaya. These two are originally a unity, which is nirmanakaya. This unity is the same as the indivisibility of water and wetness. In short, you are face to face with the three kayas of the awakened state. But if one does not know how to recognize mind essence, there is unknowing, ignorance. As long as ignorance and formation continue, samsara does not end. That which is ignorant, that which forms new thought constructs, does not die. Therefore, samsara can go on ceaselessly. To recognize mind essence is the opposite of ignorance, of unknowing, and brings ignorance to a halt. The root of samsara collapses, dissolves. As an ordinary sentient being, we are involved in an incessant stream of thought. For beginningless lifetimes, right up until now, it has been one overarching stretch of deluded thinking. This thinking is not something that we can simply stop. We cannot shake it off either. You cannot burn your thoughts, flush them away, or blow them up. And of course, many people try replacing thoughts with other thoughts, which seems like it works, but only temporarily. The thoughts come back. I'm still stuck in thoughts. The thinking, however, can be its own antidote. In other words, recognize the nature of the thinker. Acknowledge the empty cognizance suffused with knowing. In the moment of seeing this, boundless aeons of negative karma and obfuscations are purified. Joy and sorrow are evened out in the great expanse of equanimity. In this world, we go through all types of joys and sorrows. The traditional Tibetan term for world is the realm of possibilities. Nothing is impossible here. Possibilities unfold in the realm of one's own mind. Why? Isn't it this mind that experiences all that is pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral? There is no other thing than mind that can experience in this world. This experiencer is the thinker. In the moment this thinker dissolves, there is thought-free wakefulness. An ordinary person is caught up in this thinking. A Buddha is stable in the state of non-thought. Ordinarily, mind is busy thinking of all different possible things. I want to stay, I want to go, I want to do this, I want to do that. Instead, recognize the nature of that which thinks, and simultaneously the thought vanishes tracelessly. After a while, another thought will occur. Again, recognize the identity of that which thinks, and that thought will go as well. Why is this possible? It is because all thinking is empty. You do not need to try not to think. Simply recognize the nature of who is thinking, and the thought disappears by itself. By simply recognizing this, we do not have to imagine that our mind is empty. The Buddha said, mind is emptiness, train in that. So this is what you should train in. This is true peace. In actuality, death is only the death of the body. Mind does not die. When the time comes, prepare yourself by imagining that you are giving away everything, the entire universe, all your connections to others, your belongings, even your own body. Give away whatever is good to the Buddhas. In that way, you can feel confident that you are not attached to anything whatsoever, not even as much as an atom. Think, this mind of mine, which is emptiness, is in essence indivisible from the awakened mind of all Buddhas. I will simply let it mingle indivisibly with the Buddha mind. So when I die, I will be enlightened. Death is not anything that can cause harm. It is like returning home. And in the same moment of thinking this, you will arrive at the city of all Buddhas. The Buddha mind is not some distant place. It's like when you hold a mirror towards the sun. Doesn't the sun's reflection appear instantly? If you have the openness of trust and confidence, there is no distance at all to the state of enlightenment of all Buddhas. You can feel confident that from today onwards, may the fear and dread of myself and all other beings in a similar situation be totally cleared away by the compassionate blessings of the Buddhas. I can be totally without any fear whatsoever. When you open yourself with trust to the Buddhas at the instant of passing on, there is no doubt whatsoever that you will be guided to the pure lands of awakened beings. You do not need to have any doubt about this. Please keep this in mind. That is all I have to say. Well, thank you, everyone. And thank you for being a Sangha that really takes this to heart. I don't take that for granted. So any comments or questions before we leave? Any final words? No cool stories, though we did that. Well, thanks to Tulku Urgyen. Well, let's end here. So there are sentient beings in this presence who are suffering. Any merit that we may have accumulated here today, let's be with them and dedicate it all to them in a moment of silence. Thank you, everyone.